What an interesting one we have on today's rave story. And it is a rave story because it's a rave story of 10 years and me, their guests, but one is Sonia, who I always talk about in every single podcast, is in the hot seat. Fat Controller Jay Folly, who you see many times on my YouTube channel, on his own social medias, normally making memes and telling lies about me, like shagging chickens and relieving myself over avocados in Waitrose and all kinds of stuff. But this is a rave story because Sonia is 31 years a promoter. She's been with me for 33 years and we've promoted for 31 years. Jay, as you all know, from the Milwaukee's day to this present day, runs festivals, club nights, gigs. And between the three of us, we run an event called Unity in the Sun in Corfu, which is literally coming up to its 10th anniversary in another country, in which we've taken thousands of people to Corfu. It's been an absolute roller coaster of a journey, from literally a huge 3-year court case that cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds in legal costs on both sides of the spectrum. There's been blackmail, people trying to blackmail us through the Sun newspaper. There's been marriages. There's been divorce. There's been divorces. I'm sure there's been some babies made within the within the equation. There's been amazing friendships built. There's been fallings out. There's been highs. There's been lows, and it's been 10 years of taking people to another country. And what is fascinating about this event is, if you think back to the days of 88, 89, if you think back to the early 90s, and Jay himself alerted me to this, which I'd never thought about ever in my life. Not many events and promotions lasted past 2, 3, 5 years, let alone 10 years of doing something in another country and at the age group that we're at. And I have to do what I always do. Sonia, my long-suffering partner for decades and decades and decades. Jay Folly, Fat Controller, who does nothing but take the piss out of me on the internet. Welcome to the hot seat, you two. Is there any rules you want to lay out to me?
Well, can we just... Are we allowed to speak now? It's, you
may speak.
Lovely, thank you. You mentioned blackmail earlier on.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 bits of blackmail. There's one that was even bigger than what you're even thinking of, that maybe we'll get into a little later on. Yes, but it weren't blackmail on us. It was blackmail on our artists. Or not our artists, blackmail on the artists. Yes, which, blew up 1 year.
Wow. I forgot all about that. I think I thought about this on how I'm going to introduce you each into this conversation to get onto the story of Unity in the Sun and its 10th anniversary. But I think to understand it and to be in context of the Rave Story TV, we'll start with you, Sonia, because you are the enigma of my channels and what I do. You're not an enigma to the tens of thousands of people who have come to our events, but you're possibly, well, you most certainly are an enigma to the people who just watch this channel. We are the Rave Story. How did you get into rave? And when...
Are we going there?
We're going right there. And when I say 31 years of promoting with me, what are your first earliest memories of promoting events? So when did you discover the rave? when did you start promoting the rave?
Right, so I started raving literally by accident.
Yeah.
Because I went to a Prince concert.
Yeah.
With my friend. We was 12 at the time. Yeah, exactly. 12. And
this always surprises me.
Yeah, the group we went with, they were sixth formers.
Right.
So when the Prince concert finished, they was like, right, you two can go home now. We're going on to Labyrinth. And me and my friend, we was like, well, we want to come as well. And they was like, there's no guarantee you'll get in. Like, we really ground them down to take them, take us with them. And they was like, there's no guarantee you're going to get in and you'll be disappointed. But we was like, we're going to give this a go. And we managed to get in, which was just mental. And that was it. Once I went, I carried on going and going and going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was 12 years old after a Prince concert. And that was it.
Jay's shaking his head. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I'm now waiting for the moment of where you two introduced, because this could go a long way on my levels of taking the mickey out of you, Daniel.
Well, no, when we met, I was 16, you were 14. I can't remember.
No, I was 16. So it was 4 years later. So I'd been going Labyrinth 4 years before we'd even met.
Yeah.
So I'd go in there, we'd go in like groups of 5, 10, 20 of us sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, all the different places in Labyrinth, I'd go and find a dark corner. So I'd say to them, I'll meet you outside at 6 o'clock. And that was it. I'd just find my spot and I'd be there all night. So then as well, you didn't really know who was DJing, couldn't see the DJ. So yeah, I managed to avoid you for 4 years. It was
done.
outside.
Don't
you called
encourage
me.
this.
Well done.
It was outside, not inside.
Don't encourage this guy. Trust me. Yeah.
So that was it. Yeah, fell in love with it. Started going to Tasco Warehouse, Laserdrome, but Labyrinth was a weekly thing, I think, at that point, up until 16. And then, yeah, roll on to that when we met.
Yeah.
And then
what's your account? So this is going to give him more ammunition. What's your account of us meeting?
I remember walking in that night. Do you want the backstory of me going?
Yeah, come on,
so
fill us
the whole
in.
long thing. So, previous to that, I think there was a Labyrinth at Bagley's.
Yeah.
And I'd lost my wallet, a nice green naff wallet. And so I forgot about it, didn't think that it'd be handed in. I can't even remember when that was. Whether it's like, but I mean, like October 93 or something like that. I think it was earlier on.
The magazine that you're about to say with it in, so we can find.
So you're giving it away?
I'm not, but anyway, I'm not. I'm just saying that we could find the exact.
We can put
date.
it in there.
Yeah, go on. Of 93.
Yeah, so whatever the date was, I can't remember. But we'd been to the Bagleys, lost my wallet. I used to work at a data entry place in Stratford,
which was on the same road as where the Club Telepathy was at. Do you remember? Yeah. See, little bits of info for you lot.
So yeah, used to work there and was sitting in the office one day and I'd said to my friend about losing the wallet and she said, oh, Rave Scene magazine have put in a little message that a wallet's been found. She said, why don't you give them a call? So I was like, I'll give it a go. Actually rung and it turned out to be my wallet. A few bits missing, but so he said to make up for it, come down to the club one weekend. I'll give you your wallet and I'll give you some passes and blah, blah, blah. So on the off chance, I wasn't actually planning to, that's the weird thing. I wasn't planning to go Labyrinth that night because we'd been somewhere else. But because we knew Labyrinth went on till 6 a.m, we was like, well, come on, we'd finished about 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, let's go and get my wallet and we can all get in. So that's what we done. Got to the door, got my wallet, got all my friends in. And as soon as I'm walking through the club, you just pop out and you're like trying to say something. And I'm just like, F off. And And then I got
the
a
first
little
words
bit.
you ever uttered to me. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Go on.
And they weren't the last. Got a little bit further down the club, and then all of a sudden I hear shout out to Sonia. And I've turned around to my friend and I was like, did he just say my name? She said, oh yeah, he was asking. And I told him. So that's all I heard all night. Sonia, Sonia, Sonia. And then
Oh, Sonia.
I was like, when we left in the morning, we was waiting outside by the burger van, and you come out with Rob,
Yeah.
and we just got talking. No, I think I'd missed out that I'd told you to F off twice.
That night. Oh, you
That
told me
night.
twice. Right,
Yeah,
go on.
twice, yeah.
So I tried to grind you down twice in one night.
Twice, yeah.
And you
I
effed
think
me
we
off
got it
twice in
yeah.
one night. Brutal.
And then it weren't until we was outside, because obviously I didn't know who you was or what you was doing. I just thought you was some random person trying to talk to me, and I can be quite unsociable.
Jay's thinking some fat four-eyed
Yeah,
geezer in a
sounds-
leather jacket, innit?
Yeah.
That's what you thought.
And yeah, so we was outside deciding how we was going to get home. You come out, we started talking, and it was like, do you know what? He actually seems all right. And then from there, that's it. We've been inseparable,
Ever
happily ever after,
since, yeah.
since 93 to 2026.
And do you know what the mad thing is? Gidman has actually got the Rave Scene magazine, so we will absolutely be able to find the date. I'm sure he's sent it in before. And just before we get onto your earliest memories of promoting, do you remember in that period where I used to get so off my head, and you'd be up in the DJ box with me, and I couldn't decide on the next record, and you'd pull it out for me and go, just put that one on, play that one. Can you remember
Yeah, I
that?
remember clearly.
Look at Jay.
Oh,
This is
God.
true stuff, Jay.
Literally, he was chewing his face off, and I'd be picking the records and just saying to him, just go with that one next, go with that one next.
Because you in that time as well, you'd come record shopping with me or hear all the records that I'd picked up at that time. And it's true story, Jay. Right?
So is what you're actually releasing to the world here, you was actually the world's first Milli Vanilli. You was up front. This was the artist.
Basically, yeah.
And looking now, she's carrying it more now than what you are. So.
Yeah, no, Sonia could have been the DJ, dude. Like,
I was DJ myself on vinyl.
yeah,
and
I
I had
remember,
a vinyl
when I
collection.
first met you, yeah.
But yeah, wasn't learning vinyl to become a DJ. I just obviously liked it, and there was a lot of pirate radio stations around at that time where we'd go and sit in the studio and
And you
stuff
love
like
reggae
that.
as well. And you love reggae, so
I love
when
reggae,
you love reggae. You know when I play that the other day on the internet, I played a Congo Natty record, which I say is our baby making tune, right? That post has gone really, really viral on my Instagram. It was on something like 500,000 views after like a week, and there's thousands of comments, and loads of people are basically saying like, this isn't how can you call this baby making music? You've ruined my memories of this record now. And other people actually get we could get with you on this one. And yeah, it was great times. But even though Sonia was selecting the records for me, because I was off my face, I still couldn't mix them properly, could I?
No.
So when people turn around and go, yeah, but he played wicked tunes in the right order, there you go.
There you go.
There's
That's the secret.
that
So
was
come
the
out now.
secret to everyone staying to the end of Labyrinth. Right, fast forward. Can you remember your first sort of like steps into promoting with our labels and tours and stuff?
I mean, not most probably as vividly as you do, because I think, don't forget, around that time,
Yeah.
like obviously I was still working. We'd had Jack in 1994.
Yeah.
Katie come along in 98.
Yeah.
So up until that point, you was obviously DJing. I was still working at Research Resources, it was called, in Stratford. And I think at that point, your career was still like your career path, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we was then doing stuff together, as in how we went forward into the life of promoting, with the label and stuff. And I think once we started the label, and there's
always and then.
I was just thinking of one thing. Obviously, we had Honeypot,
but then it was before that.
But yeah, what got me to that point was as I'm thinking of Honeypot.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking of how you got the name Honeypot. Because we had the Winnie the Pooh.
No, because you're so
Thank God for that.
This is the nice version.
I really
this is the nice version.
No. We had the kids. We had a little Winnie the Pooh honey pot in the bath. So you must have been sitting in the bath. You
playing with his Winnie the Pooh.
Myself about. Don't bring my podcast down, Joe.
I'm not. You're literally laying this all out for everyone.
If you remember, our first outings into promoting was the GBT tours and the Honeypot Recordings tours, which you say that we had the kids, but like now, you was dealing with loads of my bookings and John Doe's bookings and the tour nights, and that was our first. So even though you're playing that down, when I look at the back, like I was looking at the back of like a Honeypot Recordings tune the other day, and the amount of dates that we were doing, like I would have my DJing that was its own promoting, which was my own career for other promoters. But then we had all these tour nights, like literal tour nights that were our nights with clubs and promoters and stuff. So yeah, you're kind of playing that down a bit because you think you organise things not just for me and the label, but you was also like with John Doe and that. You were sending John Doe all over Europe and the world at one point. Like, remember when John Doe was playing like
in Amsterdam, I'd get him tours. Yeah.
But then before that, we also, the other week, someone gave me a flyer for like GBT nights. And you're right, at that time, Jack was like 1 or 2 years of age, and I was just off like I am now, 100 miles an hour. But without us realising it, you was there still always talking to promoters and people. Like when, there was a lot of things where we'd have like the hyperbolic GBT nights and stuff like that. They were before Honeypot. They were 31 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So as vividly as I can remember, there is going to be things that I'm not remembering as much, because even then, I think there was just back of the hand stuff for me to do.
Yeah.
While I'm bringing up the kids. So obviously I had Jack, and then like I said, when Katie come along, it was like your career, and I was still working at my own job.
Yeah.
But doing this other stuff on the side.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So
it wasn't for me. Like again, it was so early. We didn't know we'd be here 30 years later doing
promoting
what we've been, what we've done with labels and a book publishing company and holidays abroad and promoting for that long.
Yeah.
So for me, just going back to the question, really thinking about promoting is, I would say the first tasty at the Crash.
Oh, remember that.
Is my first, when I'm like, fuck, we're promoters. We're in this promoting game now.
Yeah.
But before that, obviously there was things I was doing, like with the tours, like you said, and the GBT stuff. But I don't know, then I wouldn't have said, oh, we're promoters, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and also that period is I feel that is potentially more of a blur for us because of the kids. Because, like, you see in that 90s period, everything moved so quickly. So, like, because of the nature of, like, how I am with music and vision and creativity, I was like, when we met, I was into all the musics.
Yeah.
So there would, like, think back when you met me at number 9 Young Street on a Tuesday, a house music night in '93.
Yeah.
Whilst I was playing hardcore and jungle and dark and piano on one floor at Labyrinth, and then house on the other floor, you know. So in that period, which is quite, I've never thought about it like this, but it makes sense. GBT was so quick. Happy Hardcore was so quick. The latter part of Labyrinth and the music was so quick.
So quick, yeah.
The setting up of various, like, I just moved so quick. So even though there's all those flyers, GBT nights that we did with Hyperbolic in Wales, in Bristol and all of that stuff, it was a blur, wasn't it? And we was promoting. And I guess really it makes sense what you're saying. It wasn't till we got to the Crash Club, which was over in South London, that I think we kind of like the kids. Jack certainly was a few years older. We kind of found ourselves head on in the heart of London, which we'll get on, because there was so many ups and downs, and that probably taught us so much with the ups and downs of Unity in the Sun, which we faced so much of. Jay?
Well, the weirdest thing is what you're saying there, just before you move on to the next bit, is you've just described a real short period of time of going for Happy Jacks, GBT, this. That was the evolution of the scene at the time, where it was constantly evolving. And you're talking, they are a couple of year segments.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here to talk about a 10-year segment of one thing.
That is the mad thing.
And I'm saying life is so fast, and even we're sitting now, these 10 years have been fast.
Yeah, that is the mad thing, and I explained that the other day on something that me and you did. Was out of if I think of the 90s, 5 years Labyrinth residency, a year on Happy Jacks and just another label. I only did Happy Hardcore for 2 years. Hard dance, trancecore, whatever you call it, 5 years. Ministry of Sound records deal, 5 years. This, other than Music Mondays, which I think is 15 years, and other than my actual being Billy Daniel Bunter 36 years, out of every musical acquisition that I've done, and they've all been with Sonia. They've all been with Sonia, ultimately, other than my first 3 or 4 years at Labyrinth. I met you in the final year or year and a half of that, even though you had been going. Everything has been with Sonia, and that Unity is the longest thing. The longest thing that we've run. And I think we need to get onto that once Jay has told us how he got in to the rave scene and how he got in to promoting, even though someone the other day on your Milwaukee's thing said, you're to blame for Milwaukee's. Go on.
It's quite simple. Back 1986, the dance music was evolving. At the time, I was doing like your Fifth Avenues, your Pink Elephants, all those what you called Sharon Tracy clubs. We had the battle in '86 of you'd say you turn up to Fifth Avenue as you walk in, the manager gives you a sheet, and that's your play sheet of what you can and can't play for the night, and it'll go top 40, 60 session, 70 session, erection section for which is the last 10 minutes slow section.
Erections section.
Used to be called the erection
it's
section.
Still a thing for you, isn't it? When you're out and about.
And then and at the very bottom of the sheet it would say no black music. So this is a massive thing.
Joking.
So the rave scene, not only it broke down racism for people at events, it's your multinational companies that owned the nightclubs, because all of a sudden, so I say to Phil from Galaxy, Dancing Tight, getting into the charts, and they would just be able to play it in nightclubs.
Right.
So things like Lynx, there's so many of these
brilliant.
early dance
Jay, that's
stuff.
mad. So in the commercial 80s clubs, they were saying in contracts, no black music.
Yeah, your sheet like that. So I used to do a thing where sometimes there'd be, say, something's in the charts that's dance music, but black, play the always listen to the B-sides because it gives you more dance material to play.
Right.
So you play something, you think, yeah, that's quite decent. And you would mix in between. Then at the end of the night, manager would be going, what was that track you played after so-and-so? That's black music. It's like, oh, it's in the charts. That's not in the charts. Yes, it is. That's the B-side of so-and-so. Like, oh, God, stick to the form.
It's mental, isn't it?
That is mad.
So when you're talking the end of 86, 87, some of the stuff coming over from the States, you're starting to play it, stuff that's getting onto, say, Champion Records licensing. So you're getting away with playing those in normal clubs. And literally when there was an Acid album made, I can't remember what one it was, but it had 4, it was in a box set. And it was like a case of, do you know what, let's put on an Acid night. So put on an Acid night in a club. Someone from Exeter said, oh, come over to Exeter. We'll play it over there. So we went to Exeter one night. Then someone approached me and said, well, why don't we go to Plymouth? Clubs are open, because Torquay, clubs are only open till 1 o'clock. They're open till 2 o'clock in Plymouth. It's like, wow, a whole extra hour. So, yeah, right, let's hire some coaches. We just ship people down there. So then down to there, and that was it. The promoting side of it took off. And the DJing, it just evolved of that. I wanted to play more dance music in nightclubs. It's all very well. You've got the silly games bits. We was like 86. We're still doing wet t-shirt competitions. We're still doing who's got crabs competitions.
Sonia looking at me like Jay still likes doing wet t-shirt competitions.
Well, at uni, you got to throw the odd person in the pool, ain't you? It keeps them.
Oh yeah, the Folly.
No, but they're all funny. Life moves on. To do something like that now is ridiculous. But everything in its time and its moments.
So 80s, late 80s, your first trip into promoting.
Into actual promoting, yeah. And then I ended up, then 1990, I got offered a summer season abroad in a club. So I went and done that, Lorette de Mar for a year. Then come back from that from the winter, started doing all the clubs again down Torquay, Plymouth, all around there. To then get offered another summer season in Fuengirola. Went and done that. When I come back from Fuengirola is then when I met Des and Derek from Milwaukee's. And the rest is sort of history, really. That was it. Like really concentrating on the rave.
Do you enjoy promoting?
I do. It's one of the ones I love the aspect of the event of watching people enjoy themselves. It's like with Unity. Sometimes we're so busy. Sometimes just walking in the back of a pool party, watching people enjoy themselves, it's just like you go, do you know what? Brilliant. That's happened because of me. And I think that's what it's no different to when you're DJing. If you've got a crowd going mental, you're looking at it thinking, yeah, it's kicking off because of me. It's the same with promoting.
Do you enjoy promoting?
It depends.
Right, go on.
We obviously do a lot of promoting. So my job now, I do it on I basically do the door.
Yeah.
So I'm there if we do an event 12 till 9 at night, I get there at 11.
Yeah.
Start at 12 and we leave there most probably 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
So I don't actually see any of what goes on inside the club.
Yeah.
I'm literally outside on the door. That part I do enjoy because I'm welcoming everyone as they come in and as they're leaving. And throughout the day, you get to see people's enjoyment of the event. When they're turning up and they're excited, I can't wait to see this person or that person. And, we've come down from Leeds or Liverpool and we're an event in London.
Yeah.
That starts at 12 in the afternoon and people are coming all that way and making it in time for the actual beginning of the event. I like doing that part of it.
Yeah. Do you like all of the... Well, I guess I was going to say, do you like all the promoting and all the admin leading up to it? But...
You do that now.
Yeah, but do you know
do that.
You know what's interesting? It's like... and I guess I've never really thought about it in this way. And I guess age and hindsight's a wonderful thing. in the modern, like the promoting story is promoting's hard. Every promoter's story is promoting's hard. And it's this sounds bad, but I guess it's as easy or as hard as you want to make it within the stress of doing it. And I think Jay, he hasn't got hair, but if he had hair, he would pull his hair out at how, I guess, lackluster I am with it. So like asking Sonia the question, do you enjoy the promoting of it? It's like you say, you don't do that bit. Mine's all reactionary, isn't it? In the moment. If I want to do a video to promote an event, I'll do it. If I don't, I don't. If I want to wait a few weeks, and that, I know that drives Jay insane, and many promoters who I work with just can't work that out. But I guess that's 30 years of experience of knowing no matter how, if an event's going well, you don't have to promote it. If an event's going really bad, you have to work your bollocks off for it. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, some of them can self-promote.
You can be the biggest promoter in this country, and on the smoke and mirrors of it, it looks like you've got a 10, 20,000 people festival, but you may have only sold 5,000 tickets. You're $250,000, £500,000, £1 million down. And no matter how big you are, it's going to be a struggle. And I think the thing that we've probably mastered in 30 years is through the struggle, we make sure that we don't struggle. It is. Remember that time, Jay, when you first started working with me and I had an event in 2 days' time and it was really underachieved. And I come over to your lake and you were like, ain't you stressing? Like, what's wrong with you? And I said, nah, fuck it. And that blew you away, didn't it? That blew you away that we had an event on the road that was struggling in 2 days to go. And I was just like, it is what it is, because in life you can't force people to come, and it's always worked out for us, isn't it? Yeah. Like whatever it is in the air for me and Sonia in this music game, good or bad, even when events are struggling, it works. But you say that, so that's with our UK events. That's what, so we do things at Ministry, we do things at Electro Works. In the early noughties, we had our Tasty events. We funded and backed and promoted some of the greatest jungle and rave promotions there's ever been. And like you say, those things are very reactionary and very London based. So it's like the back of hand stuff, innit? Yeah. You can let me just get on with it. You sort of control the paperwork, if you like, because that's something that you're never getting me dealing with the paperwork, the tax, the VAT, that side of it. Yeah,
we both have our roles, obviously. Concepts of events, I mean, other than the Rave Story now, which is 9 years down the line, our first one.
That's mad, isn't it?
It might be even longer than 9 years.
Well, Gidman sent me the flyer for the first one.
Was the first one in Aquarium?
The first one was Aquarium, yeah. Yeah, so that's another long standing.
But that now, taking that into Electro Works or something bigger, they, like Jay said, some things just self-promote.
Yeah, that's right.
But going to the roles in promoting, so obviously you book the DJs, I don't book any DJs. And it's like when the DJs come and ask me questions, I'm like, who booked you? It weren't me. Go back to Dan. Because I don't know
what do I say to them?
What was just like, go and see Son. So it's like a bit of a cat and mouse. But yeah, you book all the artists.
Yeah.
You do all the promotion. I mean, gone are the days where we used to have to do risk assessments for venues. That was a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
To gather everyone's information.
I suppose don't have to still do that. Most places do now. Like,
we haven't done it.
It all depends. But yeah, if Electro Works, if they're cancelled, don't require that no more. They don't require it.
I think it's different with the ID policy now. They have the scanners, so where everywhere is complicit ID.
Yeah.
I think that. I mean, I don't know.
But no, because there is
the
authorities do have an artist database.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have it with Bedfordshire when I submit. It comes back with, you've submitted so and so. You can't have him at your event. He's been convicted for drugs offences. Like,
but the one thing, Son, is what we do for London is completely different for the work you do for Unity in the Sun. So we can, I think with a London event, you can just, it just goes of its own accord, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like some of the events in recent years that we do, like my 35 years, you know, even back pre-COVID with some of the big brands that were going through our business, is we've always been really good at, I think something that we're really good at is the brand is what leads it, not the lineup. Like and this comes from Labyrinth, and you'll understand this with Milwaukee's. Like, this comes from my old school mentality. We're all about, it's the concept and the meeting of everyone coming to that concept that is the sellable thing. For me, like Sonia said, when she went to Labyrinth, it was never about the DJs. They liked going to Labyrinth. Labyrinth for me was all about that. And this gets brought up so many times on podcasts with DJs that they never cared when they got into it. They didn't care. And I'm really big on my 35 years event, or if we was to do like pre-COVID things like Jungle Fever, Rain Dance, now Bonkers at Ministry, things that we do. I love to launch something without a lineup because something like Bonkers is so prestigious. My 35-year event, Epidemic 30th birthday, and we're big on promoting it based on what that brand is, because brands and the heritage is so important. Like Milwaukee's is so, if you was to bring out a Milwaukee's club night, people know that they're going to get great DJs, but you want everyone to be buzzing about the nostalgia of the thing. So we're really big on that, aren't we? So if we can, like, it's same with this current Unity, sold out all of the hotels, no lineup, and then when you do come with everyone's favourites, it's like, wow, yes, Rob Tessera's there, Aries is there, Mark Ecstasy's there, Mills is there, and then you know, and I think we're in a wonderful place with that song, that we see many promoters who have to throw huge lineups. We have huge lineups, but we make the huge lineup part of the excitement once everyone's engrossed.
So touching on that with lineup, say, you know, there's new promoters out there that have got good successful nights going. There's some people that got old brand names that are still going, but it's a case of what we've always done is a lineup that is akin to what it is. So if I'm doing a Milwaukee's night, it'll be authenticity of what it is. So some brand that's only been going for a year or two, they don't have that behind them. They're forever striving to having someone new, something different. So they have to come with their lineups because they're selling what the night is to them. So you know,
so do you know what, Jay? It's like a chicken and egg thing, though, isn't it? So in an ideal world, we have this romanticism of Genesis, Labyrinth, Rat Pack nights, all of the things that gets Crowland Road, Nut House, all of the things that get spoken about on this podcast. Like, look at this morning, son. Kidman sent me a flyer with Matthew B, Kenny Ken, Fabio, Everson, Lipmaster, Groove Rider on this flyer, right? No one's ever seen this flyer. Handwritten, Groove's name's written wrong. That, you know, there's all these spelling mistakes on this flyer. And Kidman said, this has just been unearthed. No one's ever seen this flyer before. Like, scribbled writing on it. Can you find out what year or any... I sent it to Matthew B. Matthew went, wow, I've never seen that before. Fabio said to me, Dan, where have you found this one? I said, Kidman again. Like, can you remember it? No. Kenny Ken phoned me up, did he?
Yeah,
we was on the phone for half hour. He's like, I can't remember this. But in that period, flyers were either just written on with these names who had only been around for 6 months to a year, or many of them did not have names on. And something that I touched on with Jay Cunning, because Jay Cunning's obviously really big into his new music. there's a really cult-like buzz around modern, authentic hardcore and jungle, not hardcore as in what Darren, Gamma, Hixie, Breezy, Dougal do, which is banging hardcore, or not jungle as in jungle drum and bass that Aries, Nicky, Mills do, because they all do a modern take on that music. There's scenes where and Jay Cunning's a great spearhead for this, as is Pete Cannon, as is Tim Reaper, as is 4am crew. They're great spearheaders for this music. But a lot of the time, 4am crew's a different situation, as is Near Archives and a few others. But there's a lot of really good authentic labels and DJs and producers who are not getting on bigger lineups or do not have bigger places to play. And regardless of throwing in names and trying to, my advice to them and on the Jay Cunning podcast was I would like to see those kind of people set up little 70, 80, 100 people nights with just them and just their friends in the back room of a pub or the small basement or a local, there's loads of trendy places out there. And I think we forget sometimes that even your Labyrinths and Genesis and Rat Pack nights and them eras where people's names were written on flyers, many times those nights that are etched in mythological history didn't have DJs on them. And I still think that we can exist in creating 100 people nights for underground labels or underground DJs, because it's like what we love to do, create a community.
Now with that, it's just simply a case of sometimes you've got to go backwards to go forwards.
Yes.
And that is it, that a whole new scene would flourish if that was happening, if everyone was doing their own little tiny things and just that off they build. Everything grows. It become, how everything back in them days. Some people going to Labyrinth for unaware about Milwaukee's. People going to Milwaukee's for unaware of Eclipse. It slowly started seeping together, and then it's this whole scene. Yeah,
and I think that's why with our own events in London, and then our own Unity event, we know we're going to give people really entertaining lineups across the board of music, like anything that we do in London, anything we do at Unity, you are getting a cross section of music. However, if we to your points of like everything has to start somewhere, when you've got a 36-year DJ career, 31-year promoting career, you go back to 87 in your first promotions, you've built up such goodwill with people that the community around the brands or the events that we have is so strong. So we love that. We love that anticipation that 88, 89, 90 had of you not really knowing who the DJs are, but anyone who's regulars to our things know they're getting their favourites. And I like that idea, and I would like more people to do that. We do sometimes get people who go, what's the lineup? And I tell you what I see, I don't know if you see this on our posts for either our Rave Story events, our Bunter 35 years or your stuff or Unity, where's the lineup? And people always come underneath and go, it's Unity. You know what you're going to get. And a
doesn't
lot
matter who's on it.
Yeah, a lot of old school heads really like that we do that, because I think what gets missed in the modern era is the community of people that come to an event is the most important thing, and that's what made Milwaukee's, Labyrinth, Genesis, Rat Pack nights, Innocence, all of these things so important. It wasn't till that advent of more super clubby eras or rave scene flyers becoming more extravagant, they then become more and more and more and more about the big DJ lineups and stuff. But I'm sure promoters and even people who are going out to these events have a completely different view, but hindsight, and we have absolute fortune that we can do that. We have fortune som that we can, at large, pretty much sell our events out and then give them their huge
Then give them
lineups.
the lineup, yeah.
We're that's the promoter's dream, really. But it's not just the promoter's dream; it's the absolute authenticity of all of those original
It's
events.
not their dream; it's their hard work that's got them into that position.
For
to
me
do it.
and Sonia and I,
you know, bonkers. But as an example, there is artist names that when as soon as you go to someone that's a bonkers night, they know, right, okay, it's going to be this. Doesn't have to be announced.
Yeah.
They know the certain core is going to be there. And they know there's going to be, obviously, you're celebrating 30 years of it. So they know there's going to be aspects of, well, you've got to be looking back on them 30 years as well.
Yeah.
Certain things. So that it brings other artists into it. But yeah, it's people that are into bonkers, they know what they're going to get.
Yeah, we're
laid out for them.
We really like being involved with bonkers, don't we? We really. Do you know what's a buzz? Listen, the bonkers thing. Obviously, I go back far with Hicksy and Sharky. Happy Hardcore played a big part of my life for a few years, didn't it, Son?
Yeah, it was a big part,
and it was a very, very big part. And it's always fascinating what a short-lived part it was. Do you know what I mean? Because really, like when I think of '93, when we first met, I was playing a mixture of happy, dark, jungle, because there was so much music. I know you were the same at Milwaukee's. We were doing everything, and then at the time where I met Just Another Label, and I made that happy hardcore piano track with Optical and JDS, it just sent me boom through. It just sent me up and down the UK. And it was this really short-lived period, but a period that I absolutely loved. And it rewarded us massively, didn't it, when Ministry of Sound then come back round 10 years later.
Yeah.
It rewarded us massively. And I'm really big, and I've seen either DJs or I've seen fans of other genres of the rave scene at the time hate on happy hardcore as ravers or commentators of the music, or DJs po-poing it that they want to keep it like that. But for us, it's been different, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, even though I function on a high level in the current house, I would say heritage house scene, because house is such a wide word, but the old school house scene, I function on a high level in that, the old school scene. We've chosen with Bonkers, with Hicksy, Sharky, and most notably Simon Gordon. He deserves the credit for the whole thing with that. It's also been a big part, even though old school and jungle is a big part of Unity in the Sun, we've made sure it's played a happy hardcore's played a huge part of Unity, because we've always felt that, from mine and Sonia's side, I don't know about you, Jay, you made Incomplete Darkness, which is that bridge between 93 into, along with SMD and Ramos and Supreme, that inspired the next era. And even though the 88, 89, the acid, the early 90s breakbeat, lots of the 93, 94 jungle might be perceived as being much cooler, we don't ever lose any of our heritages, do we? We keep them forever.
Yeah, and I think that's the good thing with Unity, with Electrode Works, is we can make it a multi-genre event.
Yeah.
So we retain all them genres that is the rave scene as a whole. The rave scene isn't just 88, 89. It isn't just drum and bass jungle. It isn't just hardcore or hard house that is all part of one scene.
Yeah.
And we still like to represent all their music genres at the different events, because I think it's really important.
It is.
And there isn't, well, think how many other events celebrate all those genres in one event. I'm struggling to think of one, and I would say, okay,
Rejuve.
maybe Rejuve, but Rejuve doesn't have the jungle side to it.
Yeah.
That's a major genre that's missing.
Yeah.
So there's
that could be country-wise as well. I think we do our best with raves. With my 35 years, we fitted it all in.
Yeah.
With our events, because we're all very close to Epidemic. Your festival has Epidemic. Unity in the Sun has Epidemic. We team up with Epidemic. I mean, even with Epidemic, is our next one with Epidemic doesn't have the hard house, but it has the hardcore.
It's got the hardcore, yeah. I mean, we can't obviously
every event cannot have everything.
You can't have everything every time, but we certainly don't forget about things.
Yeah, it's important. It's very important to us, which really takes me on and makes me think about how Unity started. There was two sort of in my head, and then you two can explain yours. I did want to say about, even though for our London gigs it's pretty back of the hand stuff, for Unity it's a full-time job for you because you have to deal with everyone's hotel bookings, everything. But we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
We'll hold that thought. We'll get onto that because we can explain the groundwork.
I think we can go to the very beginning.
But we need to get back to to get back to the very beginning. But in my head is the hard work that you put in, and then the groundwork, running backwards and forwards for all the artists, all of the customers. But we'll get onto that. But talking of the genres, how Unity started in my head was, first and foremost, there was an event in Ibiza called
Strictly Old School.
SOS Strictly Old School, which was Lisa, who come to me, come to Slipmatt, come to you, and said, look, I want to do this old school thing in Ibiza, which we sort of like had a loose hand in, didn't we? Of like organising DJs between us all, bringing in lots of brands from Cool FM to Dreamscape to various things. And it was fun. But it was a long time ago, right? It was 2012 times, 2013.
Yeah, 2013.
My brain is a sort of like really not too good on the timing of that overall. And then I wanted to introduce jungle and hardcore and other things.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, because I was really close to Cool FM and Jungle Fever, really close to we had the hardcore night that we was doing. It's never just about old school with us. And it started 2015, 2016 times. It wasn't for us, was it? We'd helped with it. It wasn't for us. There was a hardcore night one night, which the club owner didn't like, even though it was well attended. It just didn't work for us.
Yeah, it kind of played out after a while.
It played out after 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, the amount of years that we'd been there, and then introducing new music wasn't an option. Keep it not introducing new music, but introducing the genres, like you said, old school, jungle, into it just wasn't gonna work as such as a big thing. It wasn't gonna work.
And then at the same time, we just, because we'd promoted so long, we just saw fractions within it. We saw it kind of like falling apart, as it were, sadly. So that was the point in which we were like, we don't want to be involved with this anymore.
Well, I can remember a discussion. So I played there. It was probably the 2015.
Right, 15.
And I weren't really part of the artists because everyone has been going out doing it for years. It was my first time there. And I looked at it from the outside in as maybe from a punter's side of it. And I just thought, this is just so not run how it should be.
Right.
And that was playing on my mind. And afterwards, where you was talking about how you wanted things to change there and whatever. It just didn't seem to be working for you, how you two had involvement in it. And it just left that little bit of a funny thing.
We was just loosely involved, weren't we, as like an advisor.
Just advisors, yeah. It wasn't like part of,
we wasn't funding it. We wasn't closely connected to it. It wasn't like one of our things, like many of the things in London. We just thought, Lisa, we liked Lisa and we liked it. But it sort of, there was not growth in it as such, or how we saw it musically. And then I think it kind of come to an end, and then it become a different name, I think, in 2019.
I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think
2019.
The last one, I think, because our first one, 2017.
2017.
They still had their one, but it literally disintegrated.
And then turned it into another name,
turned it into another name for the next year, which became the Blackmail year of artists, of what they should
do.
But we still got that to come
to. But yes, when artists were told if they come and play for us, they won't be allowed to play in Ibiza. I remember not one of them listened. Everyone basically was like, go on, fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was quite, and this is how life works in a really interesting way. So we'd said, no, this ain't for us anymore. This doesn't work for us. Because we can't have the hardcore, we can't have the jungle, we can't have the harder, more underground styles, and for it to be authentic for our involvement, it needs to have more of this stuff. And there was a hardcore night and a jungle night in which the club owners didn't want it on, but people were there for that stuff. Do you remember? Distinctly? And randomly, Jay met someone.
I had someone approach me and said, I've got this brilliant place, Cavos, I've got all these clubs on it. Come and do a Milwaukee's holiday there. And I was sort of like, oh, Christ, just come back from this Ibiza thing. Last thing I want to do is something like that. But then thought more along it, and I thought, well, straight away, there's no way I can go from doing my small club nights and funny enough, Lazy Sunday Festival had already happened, which was 3,000 that year. But I thought to go and do something as a holiday, how I perceive it should be run, against how I thought Ibiza was badly run, of like not organising how people even got there and their hotels. So I thought I've got to get other people involved, and the natural thing was to get Sonia involved and you to carry on drinking at the time.
Sonia in to do the hard work.
No, because it was like a case of there's going to be so much
logistics
in this. This is going to need a team of people. And I floated the idea to you, and it was a case of, well, let's go out there, have a little jolly, have a little look at the place, and we'll take it from there.
So what basically happened in my recollection was I felt that there was absolutely scope for a multi-genre holiday, not a house holiday, not an old school holiday, all of the things that I loved musically, even some soul and funk days, and all of this stuff that I couldn't vision happening and was never going to happen with the Ibiza thing. So you met the guy. We went to our local pub.
Yeah.
I got pissed.
I said, this is a great idea. Let's do it.
Right. The fella said, I say we're doing this. He said, what, in 2018? I said, no, in 2017. He went, what, this year? In
6 months' time.
In 6 months' time? I said, yeah. You and the geezer looked at me like I'm fucking mad. Sonia went mad when I got in and said, right, we're running a rave holiday. Let's go, blah, 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 blah. Did not hesitate, went full steam ahead. We hadn't even been to Corfu. 1 month before the event, we sold a few hundred tickets. We're like, right, this sounds so bad because I'd have been 40. We'd have been 40, just turning 40.
Yeah.
You'd have been 60. So you'd have you'd have thought that these people with a combined age of 140 would actually have the brains not to actually work like this when two of them have been non-stop forever. One of them's been around since the 80s. Oh shit, we better go over to Corfu and meet all these people 4 weeks to make sure all of the middleman had arranged all of this stuff. We'd sorted out all of these. Everyone had paid their money. We'd booked all the DJs, sorted all the flights, all of this stuff. Let's go over an absolute chaos. The middleman had not sorted out a single venue. We met everyone. No one knew who we were. No one knew what these nights were. We were going round to venues. We were meeting. And it was a nightmare.
Do you know what? That I've actually been thinking about of all the different aspects of the 10 years. And I've totally forgotten the carnage that was there when that very first couple of days we went out there. Of like you're saying, yeah, the hotels, the prices that we were told we're paying were all of a sudden twice the price of what we've been quoted. The transfers, oh yeah, don't worry, you've got the coaches, they're X amount of pounds, to then a week before the event, they then tripled in price. And I said, well, let's just go and get some cars and minibuses. I'm just going to drive people from the airport.
It was literally...
Every aspect was...
Yeah, for 3 people...
And funny enough, we carried on doing it for another 9 years.
Yeah, for 3 people with so much experience and life knowledge, we walked into an absolute clusterfuck of a business situation, and we had literally 1 month. Do you remember the middleman's partner when he drove us back? I was, you can't, have you fucking, mate? Do you remember? I can
remember the exact moment of when your head exploded, because there's on the journey, it's an hour's journey, there's this one little narrow bridge, and literally that bridge squeezed your head as you went through it, and you just went, and the bloke driving, poor old Chris, was like, oh my God, it's not my fault, it's Jamie.
Yeah, and we literally, and here is the mad thing. Here is the mad thing. Very rarely do we misjudge a situation, Son, after all of that experience. Yes, I should not have been drunk in the pub. Yeah, we're fucking doing it. But you two are wise enough to think, okay, put it all together. Yeah, this can work. But we did not expect to get there. Not a single venue, not a single hotel.
I mean, yeah, that wasn't down to us. I mean, I don't think we, with our wise heads, we could never have predicted
that we misjudged the person and the middleman in the situation.
Yeah.
We could never have guessed. We could never ever have foretold with our knowledge of people and that. So we get in, and this is where our promotional skills, and I would like to think our people skills, turned that around. We literally had 4 weeks of 200 or 300 people come in, no hotels, no venues, no boats, no transfers, no nothing, to literally coming back and going bam, 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 making it all happen, and actually getting rid of the middlemen and building these relationships with hotels, venues, boats, coach companies, the lot. Can you remember that, Jay?
Yeah, literally you can say from us being on our own the next year, relationships just went crazy, to Greeks saying, oh, can you please come over earlier next year? We're having a family get together. Oh, come along and have something to eat with the family. And, you know, being invited in family homes was complete flip side.
They
of the coin
hated us when we went over.
The first time, like,
first year.
oh, there's some more Brits being brought over now to rip us all off.
Yeah,
and that was it. No matter, you know, once we worked out that Cavos is literally like 5 families throughout. Of once you're working with one uncle, all of a sudden it starts spreading around. As much as the rest of their family dislike you, all of a sudden they start warming to you because they start getting told the truth from someone directing their family. So, you know, like you say with the Pandis, you know, started off with Babis.
yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden, you know, his nephews and all that, all of a sudden it's like they're open arms. The first year they're working in his bar, looking at us like as if we're pieces of shit sort of thing.
We was, mate, when we...
And that's, sorry, the other thing I won't forget is that first year, and I mean, even to last year, people still, the men's way of working is they don't deal with women. So obviously I'm quite a prominent figure within the business, so I'm the one actually paying people. And when you'd say Sonia's coming to a meeting and they'd be like, you know, she can't sit with us, she needs to sit over there or something. And when you'd be like, Sonia's got the money to pay you, they'd look the horror on their face where they'd be like, a woman is giving us money.
Yeah.
Well, saying that early on, they did realise it's either you come and give them the money, or he comes and tries to grab their arses, their bollocks.
Right? Do you know what the mad thing is? The maddest thing in this is when we first started going over there, they were all convinced that I was gay and that you was my boss, weren't they?
They were good times.
And they could not believe that Sonia was my partner. And then we had a few moments in the early days, especially when I was drinking, where my anger levels, like when I realised that we'd been sold up the river and with these middlemen, and they didn't have a Scooby-Doo.
Didn't have a clue what
they
they were
did
doing.
not have a Scooby-Doo, which is on us for taking it on.
Yeah.
And nothing but ultimately love for them 2 guys, because they did introduce us to it, albeit very badly. But we basically, like losing it with that guy when we realised they hadn't put everything into place. They got to a few points, and it's like, I guess they become like family over there, didn't they? And this is what makes it so fun for us to do. The hotel, like, you have to understand that we walked into Cavos, they did not like us. We were just another fly-by-night Englishman coming to like make promises, not live up to any of it. The people we'd come through had been letdowns to them anyway, so that totally broke trust with them, did it? So they did not want us there. Then all of a sudden, once we started organising everything, putting things together, then they were like you say, Jay, invite us to their houses, let us have their holiday homes any time of the year to go over, like really, really look after us. But the turning point when they realised that I wasn't gay was like anyone you get on with in business or family or friends, there's, because we deal with so many people over there, there's been a couple of situations where they have been a bit fly, or they have tried to take the piss, and I've gone absolutely fucking mental in the moment. And I'll tell you, the one who was like, no, he's not gay, is Billy. Billy, when I'm Big Billy, and I've gone mad at him, but then they've gone mad at us at times. And it's funny, it was a real, like, how we went from these really, like, because we were taking people there for the first time in the second year, because we'd been thrown, sorry, I'm not going to say because we had been thrown, because we threw ourselves in at the deep end. It was the best learning curve of taking all of our knowledge and then creating this thing. And then they trusted us. They just trusted us to be organised. They trusted us with their prime
Yeah, it was like the ultimate test, I think, from that first year when we went, and it was a shit show.
Yeah.
You know, no relations with any hotels. And then that go on, and then to turn up the second year, and it's like it completely changed. We was organised. Everything was locked down. We'd brought even more people. And I think they was like, these people mean business. And we've even had conversations over the years with some people that have said, we see people come and try and do this all the time, and it doesn't work. Like, I think, again, we're one of the longest people as a promoter to be in that resort consistently, especially to do it 2 years in COVID.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't stopped. We've been in there 10 events year in, year out.
From the first year, literally being an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Being thrown in at the deep end, not having a clue, not knowing anyone whatsoever. We were actually buzzing by the end of it. It was like, we was like, it's one of the greatest experiences of our lives, like at the end of it. And it was only like a few hundred people, but we'd connected like old school jungle, hardcore, 88, 89, had some soul and funk, some reggae. It was just this amazing thing that was kind of like born out of like the Music Mondays listeners, what you'd been doing, Jay, with your Milwaukee stuff. Just like, it was just this really...
It was like one big family holiday, because a lot of those people had followed, obviously, you as a DJ over the years. They've been to our previous promotions, like you say, Jay. And it was just like we was all on holiday together.
Yeah.
And like, even though we was running ragged, it was still like, we'd still sit back and go, this is brilliant.
Yeah,
look at, you know.
We lost a fortune. All of the prices we were told were wrong.
I remember one night it started raining at Amos. And got everyone, and that was still probably one of the greatest things going.
Mate,
the way that went.
They loved it.
Right, so, mate, brilliant. Picture this. So, one of our first pool parties, which was at Amos, as if everything couldn't go wrong behind the scenes, it started pissing down with rain. And Bebis, who owns Amos, he was the first person to take a shine to us. He was the first person to take us under our wing. He loved us. He was the first one, right? Yeah. So after 2 or 3 days, he really warmed to our charm, if you like, right? So he come up with the ingenious idea of like, he had this little reception idea. He's pissing down. Everyone's had a nice day at the beach, on his beachfront. He's moved all the speakers in, and we literally had this little mini rave all day.
In the reception area of the hotel.
Reception area, all the windows shut. The vibe of a few hundred people was just so organic and mental. Brilliant. Look, Sonia's saying brilliant. And the mad thing about it is, right, with all of our experience in the world, and I was talking to that young promoter this morning about it. When you've done something for 31 years, like me and Sonia, you'd never ever chase your losses ever in promoting. Like you if you set something up, you work and it don't work, we're not the people who go, but it's brand building and we're going to chase our losses. And I don't know if you remember, Jay, but it lost so much money. And both of us at points were actually going into our personal bank accounts.
So there's another aspect to it that you've probably forgotten.
Right.
So before we even got out there, we was using PayPal. And all the money was going for it. PayPal suddenly went, well, we want all your business information. Well, you've got it. You've got our limited company paperwork. Yes. You've got our director's paperwork. You've got every business bit of paperwork you could possibly have.
And
they still was like, well, we're not giving you money. So I had to literally, because it had gone through one of mine, I literally took some money out of another business and gone, at least we got the money.
Yeah.
But I then had to take them to court to get my money out of them.
Yeah, it's been a mad old journey.
Yeah.
And not forgetting that first year we was literally going into a legal in a legal battle
And
before
that
we
was-
even had our first event.
So listen to this, people.
So we're
right?
talking about the second year. During our first year, in that first 6 months, we put that event together. We're in a legal case.
Listen, it's mad with all of our successes and all that we've done, and it's like anyone, especially with our experience, would have come home after that first event and gone, "Fuck this! Are we mad?" Right? What did we do? We watched everyone cry around the pool on the last day. This is amazing. Right?
That's it.
Tens of thousands of pounds down. Like
that was it. It was the emotion of it.
Right. All this money down. We'll get into the court case, the legal battle pending. Fuck it. Let's bring all these people back again. This is like the promoters talking now. This is like, we just want people to have a good time. So yeah, we come back the second year, and what we'd done, so when we'd launched the first one, Unity in the Sun, we'd set up the company. It was one thing. It was Unity in the Sun. It was hardcore. It was jungle. It was old school. It was 88, 89. And this is the yin and yang of the ups and downs. And people have said it's something to do with the Greek gods. It's like the Greek way that like there's this up and down of it all. So like to your point, Son, all of the sudden the event innovation starts sending us legal letters that we are taking their customers. We only took 200 people. You're detrimental to our event. We're in Corfu, you're in Spain. You're confusing demographics. We're 50-year-olds, you're 18 to 21-year-olds. You're jump up drum and bass, we're all of this music.
Yeah.
And literally the buzz of what we did and seeing all those people crying, us loving it, we did not give a fuck about this geezer's legal case. And you think, Son, on top of also getting the legal case was the threatening messages on my phone, what's going to happen to me, what's going to, watch your back, all that kind of talk. On top of getting legal letters continually to stop this event. And it went on for 3 years. It went on for 3 years in which we won, in which it ruined innovation.
Yeah.
It stopped them from happening. And we so caught in the buzz of giving our 200 to 400 people in them first few years the old school hardcore jungle, happy hardcore holiday, remained defiant. But the Greeks hated us and we did not like them in the first year. We ended up loving these people like family. They ended up loving us like family. And we were like, no, we're bringing people here. What's your recollection?
It was year on year. It was increasing. We're going to finally get to the point of the dreaded word of COVID, which has changed the world for everyone, and no different for Unity. Although we was lucky and ended up being the only event that went ahead that year
in the first year of COVID.
We say 10 years later, and we could say going ahead that year was probably detrimental to us being further down the line. But it served its purpose of that we had to save people's money from what the Greek government had done to us.
I've got a question for you both before we get into all that, because people have heard my take in the past on the innovation and Unity case. I've said it on my podcast with Vibes. We've spoke about it recently on one of our Idiots of the Internet episode 2. So I'd like to know Sonia's recollection of that legal proceeding over the 3 years, what your work was within that legal battle, how you perceived what innovation were doing to us, and why we won, and what it what you learned from it ultimately. I think people have heard mine and Jay's side. I'm interested to hear yours because I think it's a fascinating thing and a big part of the rave story in the past decade, because Innovation was a huge rave. Me as a front-facing DJ, he's a known DJ in the rave, and the rave scene is he's 37, 38 years old. I want to know your take on it all.
The first take from it was, it was completely unnecessary. It shouldn't have got to where it got to, I don't think, which is the sad part. Innovation and Unity in the Sun banged heads, and it was two stubborn people that weren't going to back down. And that's what made it, I think, spiral as much as it did. Which, it's a shame. It happened. We learnt so much. And I just remember, the amount of times we had to sit and have meetings, going back and forth with a solicitor and writing letters for the first 2 years. Obviously, I wrote all the letters. We didn't have a solicitor then that we was paying for. I was doing all the letters at home. I'd stay up sometimes 4 or 5 in the morning writing replies back to Innovation solicitors. And then it was only, again, to the point where it got to none of us are backing down. We can't have a resolution. The next stage is going to court. We got barrister in, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know, it's just, even though it was such a massive thing at the time, don't forget, I'm still running the holiday. I'm still dealing with bookings.
We've
still got events in the UK.
I remember the very, very start of it where I said, right, we've got this idea, it's what we're doing, let's do it totally, properly, legit, let's trademark it. So we'd already got the trademark. So when that come along, I remember saying to the pair of you that, I've been through this before. I've lost the trademark. The very reason why I lost is why we win this.
Yeah.
I'd done that because I was being stubborn. I wanted to stand my ground and prove my point. None of that counts in the court of law. What matters in the court of law is what is the law.
What is the law,
and we was on the right side of the law. But I did say it would take so much out of us because it would just seem like it's never ending. And then luckily Sonia's she wanted to get the bit between her teeth and right, I can see what you're saying. I want all this. This would be a great learning thing, and you could see the determination in her to get hold of it.
I was going to become a solicitor. I was looking into learning the bar and everything because I found it so interesting.
He'd have been at the bar then, wouldn't he?
Yeah, the law is the law, and that was
Exactly.
a passing off case. So it was quite evident that, a lot of it was on our side with what we can prove that we was doing within our event. And that's the whole reason why I say it shouldn't have got to where it got to. But
we sat around with him. We've had hotel meetings, where I can remember at one where I said to him, look, please, mate, I know you're, he said he wanted to do it on principle. And I said, mate, I've been sat your side of the table. I've done it on principle. I lost 100 grand on trying to prove my principle. Yeah. Please don't do this to yourself. Let's just settle it out. And he was like, no, I'm not having it.
Yeah, there was no principle. And many people over the past few years have said, how do you feel about it? I don't feel like a winner. I don't feel like a winner. I feel sorry that Innovation isn't what it was when it was one of the greatest drum and bass things to ever happened in drum and bass music. It's a valuable life lesson. Choose your battles wisely. Don't let ego spiral you out of control. Certainly don't make threats. Don't make threats to a strong couple and a man who's already been through what you've done. And it should never have got to it. An event that was just starting up for 250-year-olds should not have been in the eye line of a man who attracts thousands and thousands of 18-year-olds to a completely different music, to a completely different country. And the bottom line of it is we wasn't your problem. Your problem was hospitality, sun and bass. Your problem was the rising new generation of drum and bass promoters who, one, you come after the small fry in a, you know, we're the old school's the old bastard. You know, we're struggling to walk behind you with bad backs. Like you've done that when you should have been going, oh, hospitality on the beach, this one, that one. These are now the people who are taking from me in a competitive way. You just see red. And again, would I have, because what's interesting in that point is he made the threats when I was in the height of my drinking, pissed. My reactionary thing was, who's this cunt talking to? I've got the backup of Sonia. I've got the experience of you in a passing off case. No one's talking to me and Sonia like that. You know, back to the promoting thing, Sonia's been held up at gunpoint promoting our events. We've been round the block. You've had passing off cases. It's pretty simple. And you better leave us all dead in a ditch to tell us what to do.
It's quite sad in a way, looking back, to
sad.
think that we're looking at it, that more than likely this whole experience for him is what cost him innovation.
100%.
Because he's completely taken the eye off the ball of what's going on in his world around him, because by the time he's come to court, lost hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
These other things are up and running.
He distracted himself
that
with
money
us.
could have gone into innovation.
And then other people just rose above it, which is the sad thing. Because we've been to innovation. You've played innovation.
Innovation, yeah. We loved it.
We like Lloyd as a
person.
person.
I released his album through my record deal on Ministry of Sound. Yeah. So, you know, like...
Which they tried to use in the case against us.
Oh, they tried to use his album that was through my deal. And also the most bizarre thing was when he said he invented old school in the case. That was crazy. That was crazy when he basically said that I had ridden off the back of him having old school at his events. And we were like, actually, there's this Labyrinth flyer from 1991 where I'm actually playing an old school night. And even what was great about the judge was she had worked at MCPS or PRS, and I just remember looking after her over her glasses saying, so are you saying that Daniel Light cannot go to Glastonbury and play an old school set? Because at the time I'd just played at Glastonbury, I think, because you invented old school. And the clogs were turning, wasn't it? You could see, but yeah, we rustled feathers, and I think promoters in the promoting game, it's an egotistical game anyway. When it comes to London, regional events, Manchester, wherever, you know, there's always that argy-bargy of don't play for him, play for him. There's this been there forever.
I get it. It's like people want to protect what they've built. They've got their territory, and you know, if they're long running, they deserve to retain that. But it goes back to just choose your battles wisely, because we wasn't a battle for you. Yeah. And that you know, all I can say about that whole experience was it was sad.
It was sad.
It's a sad thing for people. Yeah. In that situation, but no one outside of us knew what was going on. No one.
That was the maddest.
We was dealing with this like literally on our own.
God,
once again, in that one, something we haven't mentioned, Lloyd then told artists there that they they played at Unity, they couldn't play for innovation.
So the mad thing was, I'm just now thinking about this with the rustling, the feathers. So, and I think what it was, a holiday event creates far higher emotions, a far higher emotion than even putting on a one all-dayer or a one all-nighter. The emotions are so high. And also, because you think in the court case, Innovation had to give us all their paperwork to our solicitor. So we see the amount of money that he had been making year on year. Like we had seen that. So he was completely threatened by the wrong people, but he went around telling people, and people who had sat you'd cook dinner for in our house for many years, you're not allowed to play for them. You're not allowed to, if you play for them, you're never playing for me. And we've never done that to anyone. But at the same time, Ibiza, so here is the mad thing about Ibiza. We chose a date in May that whenever Ibiza, the SOS had been on, it'd been in a variant of days, hadn't it? June, July, all of these different days.
Wasn't a set date.
So when we went over to, it's mad when I think about how pedantic and pathetic promoting can be with people, right? So we chose a date that did not conflict.
Our first year we was in May, she was in September.
Yeah, did not conflict with SOS. So we took this date. We didn't want to be involved with Ibiza simply because we couldn't play the hardcore in the jungle.
Yeah.
We couldn't play the hardcore in the jungle and the more under, some of the times I took Jerome Hill to SOS.
Yeah.
Real acid. Other times we took Brocky and Flirt and Cool FM DJs and Shock, this vibes. We love vibes, me and Sonia, with our events, and you do with your festivals. You put everyone on, right? So Ibiza couldn't do that for us. And then SOS sold their, I don't know the full stories, but they become slipped back in time. But as you say, our first year...
So their year after Lisa on her own, they teamed up. They were still old school IB. They were still SOS.
Right.
It's when they fell out on the year, that would have been our year two.
Right.
It was on our year 3 where they then had all fallen out, closed the business, and then they decided to start up, slip back in time.
Right. And like you say, am I correct in saying...
They was September. Now that it's slipped back in time, now then going, we're now May.
So, okay, so now you two could probably put this into perspective more. So we chose May to not go against Lisa at SOS because we'd worked with her and out of respect. She'd had many different dates. So I remember us going through the flyers of, okay, they do June, July, this date. We cannot be the same as them. Even though we're going to be doing hardcore jungle and stuff they don't do, we're still going to have some old school. And that year, they was months away apart from us, So then we went, and I remember now, so we had this court case going, the ruffling of the feathers, and this is real promoter stuff now, behind the scenes, pedantic patheticness. So we got a court case where friends are being, MCs and DJs are being told they can't play for us. Then we put our next year on, or year after, and the Ibiza thing becomes a different name and becomes in the same month as us, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, me and you two are no good bastards for being on the same time as this Ibiza event.
Yeah, their words, we'd stolen their day.
We'd stolen, thank you, all over the internet, we'd stolen their day when we hadn't.
And it was their first event.
And it was, and that particular year was their first event. Then they start telling the same DJs they're not allowed to play for us because all of their DJs sent us the emails. And
that occurred whilst we was at Unity, because I can remember coming back up to the Fountain Bar. Stu Allen was sat there, Mark Ecstasy, Hone, and you were there. And as I'm driving up, I could just see you looking out at the minibus and going... I'm driving thinking, oh, what now? Have they run out of ice cream? What's going on? And I got out, Jay, come up, you're not going to fucking believe this. Like, what? I've just seen a letter. They've got an email saying they can either play for us or they play for them. They can't do both.
And do you know what the thing is with that?
Wow.
Do you know what because every one of those people said to us, what do you want us to do? What should we do? And my thing is, you've got to make your own decision. You play for, because here is the thing with, I'm a loyal person. Like, look at Labyrinth, look at my friendships, look at my relationship. I'm a loyal person, right? So growing up on the markets, growing up round Labyrinth, the way me and Sonia are, my closest friends from school, you don't even have to talk to me about loyalty. I understand what loyalty is. Do you know what I mean? Like, we understand what it is. I am not going to demand your loyalty. I am not going to demand your friendship. I am not going to command and tell you what to do. My thing was, make up your own mind. Not one of them listened to what Ibiza told them. Yeah. Every single one of them come and played. Because you can't, doesn't matter who you are, you simply cannot demand grown men's loyalty.
In what they do.
How dare you demand grown men's loyalty whilst lying about what it is we're doing publicly. You know, when the flyers from the previous years are there, we've not gone up against Lisa whatsoever. And then you come out and launch a new event and you choose to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is funny that so many emotional highs. That second year was amazing, wasn't it? Even though all that was going on. And literally we'd grown doubling numbers on the second year. Then all of a sudden, 2020 was ready to go, wasn't it? 2020.
Yeah, it was 17, 18, 19. So 19 was,
2019,
19, but 19 was brilliant that third year.
17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
It'd grown to something colossal,
Yeah, so then at 19, we was like 2020, it was about to go in a completely different direction.
Don't forget, I done the website. 15 hotels we had.
Wow. 15
and don't
hotels.
forget, you know, we're talking people that we'd given money to fill their hotels before people had even started booking.
Yes.
2019.
To get the money.
Guys, check, this is the dream, right? So this is like a mad promoter thing, isn't it? I remember you two are sparking my brain now in the height of all this people, court cases, demands being made to our mates where they can and can't play and all that stuff. And we'd built this thing. And I remember this event's in Corfu. Lots of our we call them partners, hotel partners, business associates, friends. A completely different landscape to the first year. We literally were going over to like Athens and that for big meetings and paying huge deposits on hotels and get geared up to fucking 2020, like literally. Then all of a sudden,
the COVID.
I mean, obviously it was around the start of the year. It started coming
won the
through.
court case by that point.
Yeah, we did 2019. It was finished in 2019.
Can I just say something on the court case? It's easier to talk about it almost 10 years later, openly and honestly, because none of us, we have no pride in it. We feel sorry for the situation's sad. And I remember there was this sort of like the 3 years that had gone on, we won. And we'd had these amazing emotional parties. 29 had grown something brilliant. And we'd won. And I remember when we come out of court, and you said, say like, let's get a photo and tell the story. And then we all looked at each other and we was like, no, that's classless. We don't, even though we're talking about it now, there was no, I don't know about you, Son.
It wasn't a victory, was it?
Wasn't a victory. It was sad for the music, sad for the scene, sad for the thing. We just, the South Londoner, the North Londoner, what would you call yourself? The Bedfordshire.
Bedfordshire, but
we simply could not have someone tell us what to do when they were wrong.
It weren't happening. Especially because it happened on Christmas Eve.
Oh, Sonia, of course.
2016 Christmas Eve, and he's ringing you on Christmas Eve while we're out getting our last chopping bits. And it's like, you ain't ruining our Christmas.
My children they've mentioned it numerous times since, of that Christmas day, it wasn't Christmas to them because I was just on the phone to you the whole day.
Yeah.
Where we were sorting it out. my children looking at it, they lost their Christmas Day because of that.
Wow. That's mad.
That's how much he'd taken over our lives to deal with that thing on
that
by
day.
doing it Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so let's get back to the thread of
2020 COVID.
So it was sort of like just before, it would have been the end of February.
Yeah.
It would have been like just right now.
Yeah.
We were actually in that timescale of where it was just coming out of this could really be stopping people, the movement of people, this, that and the other. And then all of a sudden it literally, beginning of March, just went bang, that's it. It's
The world on lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown. And it was like, oh my God. And
But we were still like, what's the word?
Optimistic.
Optimistic, yeah. We was thinking, by April, this will all be done.
Done, yeah.
Like, we can still go ahead in May. Like, that's no time. This will all be cleared up by then. So we, carried on working. I carried on by that time. I'd had everyone's flights. So I was still collating the transfer list, the hotel rooms, allocating the hotel rooms. And we was like, don't worry, may still happen.
Yeah. And it was like, it was going to be colossal, wasn't it? 1,000, 1,500. It was like you couldn't.
Well, it was literally just over the 1,000 that were booked on.
Booked on until the COVID
we was looking, going, how do we
get any more hotels?
Get any more spaces? We've used them 15 up. It's
It was mega, wasn't it? It was just like, wow, we like after because it always felt like after the case, after the lies that Ibiza had said that we'd stolen their date, the telling people who couldn't come and play to us, all of that graft and hard work had to mean something, and then it was there. It was like bam. It's like this has done its thing. COVID hit, and us being defiant once again, stupidly defiant, absolutely refute. We managed to work out a way to save people's holidays and take them away every year during COVID. I will let you two describe that.
I'm going to be really quick on this one because there's still so much to get through. But the first year of Unity, I personally thought that was amazing, the best. Like being an intimate with the amount of numbers that we had, and to pull it off for the first time, even with the hiccups behind the scenes, it was one of the best things. But then when we managed to have that event in 2020, when people weren't going to pubs, restaurants weren't open, they weren't allowed to travel to see their own family, like people had been so secluded in their own homes, it was getting to a desperate point. And when the first people started arriving at that hotel,
the tears from people.
The emotion.
I can remember one lady, I'm not going to name names, but she was sat in the chair, she was stroking the arms of the chair. And I was sort of like, are you all right? She was like, I can't believe I'm out. This is just to even be here, sat in the chair. It's like more than what I could have ever dreamt of, the way the world is now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that was just the start of it, of every person was just...
Yeah. People kept cuddling because they were like, is this real? Like, it don't seem real after what we've been through. Because we went September, October for that first one. September. So, yeah, we was obviously already 6 months into COVID by then.
Yeah.
6 months is a long time when
you've done it all the time, been out.
Yeah, or when your world just stops and you're confined to your bedroom or your house, and you're not even, at one point our neighbour couldn't even cross over into our garden for the threat of being given a fine.
Yeah, I think putting on events in COVID, those events, potentially some of the greatest achievements of our career, and under the stress that we was under with the laws of Greece and all of that.
Touching on that, so at the end of May, when the event would have come and gone, we then got delivered the bombshell. The Greeks passed a law that anyone working within, any business working within the retail sector or providing holidays, whether you're a hotel, you're a bar, anyone that's taken a booking, they didn't have to return the monies to people. So all of a sudden, we then sat there
paid
going,
all the money to the hotels.
hold on a minute. It's like, wow. And so further down the line, when we then got to the stage of, right, we can go in the September, then we had the thing of another court case, Ryanair wouldn't return our flight money for all the flights that got cancelled. I had to take Ryanair to court, small claims court, to even get that back.
Because they'd previously been booked for
all the artists, every artist's been booked.
Yeah.
EasyJet, I think, gave it back after about 8 months. Jet2 were the best. Jet2 instantly issued vouchers. But yeah, I remember walking into the court to take on Ryanair. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we managed to roll over the holidays. We managed to take people
3 years,
away.
that 1,000 people we would have got in 2020 rolled over across 3 years.
Yeah.
So it was one of the best events in 2020 and even in 2021 because everything still wasn't.
Once again, was shut down at home.
Yeah, everything still weren't back to normal. And to be fair, I always say they was the easiest unities that I've had so far. Considering it was the most stressful time, the pressure and still the uncertainty, because we didn't even know if we would do September. We was just going with it on the fly, like, if we can make this happen, it's going to happen. And luckily, it did all go our way, and we kept on that, like, we never give up. But yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it was so relaxing at the same time.
Surreal and relaxing. When we had the events up in the mountains and all of that, that was madness. Like the police totally left us alone, and we had the UV parties and the white parties in the mountains, and some people could go, well, how irresponsible are you? But no one caught COVID, no one died, and like we just took people away.
We acted within what the laws, the COVID laws were in Greece. So there's a thing, people were coming out of the UK where they're having to wear their face mask and everything on the flight and whatever until they got into resort, and then once you was in resort, you was able to.
Yeah,
and once again, we had that absolute high of taking tons of people away twice during COVID, and all of the sudden, a hate group got hold of us. Without going too deep into it, but I guess we can touch on, I forget what the guy's name was who worked for various newspapers. Oh, God. Tom Latcham. Guy called Tom Latcham and a couple of others started a hate campaign and actually tried to blackmail us through the Sun newspaper and contacts over us, that we'd kept all of this money from all of these people and ripped off all of these people, when actually what we had done was actually done our best to save everyone's money. Take them
not only has all their money gone to the hotels, we've given them money on top.
And actually, all of these hotels were in their right to keep all of the money that we'd paid them.
Yeah.
As were the everything that we'd laid out for. And I remember when we got the email, because it started with a page called Hush.net anyway, making all of this stuff up about us. And then this guy, it was some sort of email, wasn't it, from a guy who generally works at the Sun or somewhere, who this Tom Latcham guy had been a journalist or was, or is he on LBC or some sort of station?
No, I think he'd done Talk Sport for a little bit.
Talk Sport or something, and he knew someone, and they tried to scare the life out of us and basically blackmail us into whatever it was.
Basically, they was just like, we're going to put you on blast for a national newspaper, and if you don't pay all this money back
to all these thousands of people, it weren't thousands of people.
It was about 5 people
who had
who wanted to cancel, but we're trying to say, like, your money is tied up in the money that we've paid the hotels.
The hotels.
So we don't want to not give you your money back.
Yeah.
We actually haven't got any money to give you because it's with all these
and we're
businesses
working
that we've
hard.
paid.
Not only that, so the cancellation policy that we had was in line with the hotels of where they operate. So, because don't forget, when we started this, we was new to this.
Yeah.
So when we went to them, so what happens if someone cancels? Well, if it's within 60 days, it's a 75% cancellation fee. Anything before that, 50%. If it's the last 2 weeks, it's 100% cancellation fee. So we went, right, well, that's what they are. That's what we have to put in our terms and conditions then.
Yeah.
So it was there from the beginning.
It was so. It was like when that was going on. It was like not a fucking again. Like, but it was funny because we went and good old LinkedIn. We went and managed to link this Tom Latcham and this bloke from this newspaper, and they'd got together. And in the end, you dealt with this Latcham's mate, and he was like, "Look, I really don't want nothing to do with this. This has gone way too far." We tried getting hold of Tom Latcham, like all people who carry on like that, blocked us on his phone numbers, couldn't face it. Come on, man. Why are you going around trying to blackmail us yet you can't pick up the phone to us and explain your weak self? Explain your weak, pathetic self of why you felt the need to do that. And again, we stood tall, like with Lloyd, like with a beef for telling DJs they can't DJ for us, which is small, a small move. These people doing this, we put on the events in COVID. COVID ended, we were still going. And it's such a strange thing, the backstabbing of promoting, the looking for a story, the lies that go around it, the thing that people say, that they'll say. And we stood tall, didn't we? We stood tall.
Yeah,
Well,
we
stood to our principles.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I say to quite a lot of people, quite regular, is that I never tell lies in my life because I've got the worst memory you can imagine. I could sit here
Sonia just
and say...
Sonia just looked at me as if to say, lying cunt.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, you can tell someone one story, and if you can't remember it, you go to someone the next day, you're making up another variation of it. It's just
well, they say the truth never changes, does it?
The
But
truth,
lies
exactly.
change.
Yeah, the truth.
So it's like, every single aspect, we've just been ourselves and gone, well, this is us. This is what we're doing. If you want to attack us that way, you do that, but we're standing tall against it.
Yeah,
you want to take us to court? Yeah, well, we're on principle.
You can't back down. Listen, like we say, we're empathetic enough to say that situation with Lloyd was sad. He's someone I'd like, if ever there was a situation to come, some people like that can stand side by side with us and blah blah blah. Those kind of his kind of character, our kind of character, are far stronger in moving music, mountains together, even stood together rather than arguing. But you cannot let someone bully you, especially when they're wrong. In the same principle with the people who tried to blackmail us, you certainly can't let a snivelling little minge try to bully you or blackmail you. Like, it ain't happening.
I think that aside though, from when you think of where we are at this point this year, our 10th event, with all the stuff that we have had go on, we've rode through all of that, and we're giving it up. We're giving it up for a completely different reason. When we've had all that stuff go on, that we should have been like, fuck this, let's give up.
Yeah.
We've gone through it and carried on and on and on, and we've just got to the point of this 10th event where it's like, do you know what? It's been a long time. We're all going in different directions. There's nothing bad in it.
Yeah.
But we could have given up a long time ago. So I think it shows our dedication to it.
The Kavos thing is that Kavos has only slightly changed its way. In the first year there, certain hotels will tell us they're going to be going for this better market and whatever. Yeah. It's still, the still crux of Kavos is still Kavos.
How I always explained it, Jay, was like you had Labyrinth and Dungeons, and then you had Astoria and Camden Palace. labyrinth, basically Kavos is labyrinth and dungeons. You're dark, like this is rough around the edges, and Ibiza is your Astoria, Camden Palace, and Ministry of Sound, and that's why we fell in love with Kavos. And they don't upgrade it, they don't do nothing, and that's the charm.
Yeah.
And everyone who comes back year on year out, like it is sad because the other day we did a little video and we said it's sad, but we're going to be grandparents.
Yeah.
Me and Sonia are going to be grandparents. My career is taken so many different twists and turns, as Jay knows. He's privy to how my music's going. Our house is literally going to turn into a house for the grandkid. Like our life is changing. You've got your festival, and we'd rather end on a high. 10 years is a long time. You never say never.
No.
Because
No,
Jay,
I mean, funny enough, since the moment that we sort of said that, you know, the things where things have been, people have approached to do things. Why don't you come here? Why don't you go there? And the general public have gone, perhaps they're here, there, and everywhere.
here is the bad thing.
Who knows?
I don't know
whatever.
if you. I'm not going to say where. Well, it's been two places where I've been to DJ or we've been, and I've messaged you, sat on my balcony overlooking, going, "We're in such and such country. I fancy a weekender here." Innit? Not hold that thought.
No.
But I, for me, like, here is the thing for anything that we do, like Sonia touching on my London promoting, and this might offend people who work hard at promoting, but I don't do much for promoting. Back to what I wanted to discuss earlier, all of the data, it's a full-time job for Sonia, collating all of our hotel.
But the weird thing is, it has taken us 10 years to find a way of how it should have been done from year one.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes the glaringly obvious is staring you in the face and you can't see it.
Yeah.
But again, for me, the putting the lineups together and doing that stuff's easy. It's not a full-time job. For Sonia, it's a full-time job. For you, when you're there in the 2 weeks, running a team, taking people back and forward, round the clock, airport runs, artist runs, it's an intense job for both of you. Yeah, I do take on work whilst they're organising lineups and stuff. But I think for you, Son, massively, you've got other things you want to do in your life. Like you say, within this 10 years, you was honestly contemplating becoming a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because
I really did look into it.
Because of what you did. And you're, as people can probably work out, all three of us are people who, we don't give up, we don't back down, we don't give up on ourselves, and we don't give up on the people who have invested into believing in us. Hence why we did not let them hotels keep all of that money in 2020. And that's do you know what,
so
Jay?
Here's the thing,
Jay,
there is one.
Go
So another thing we've forgotten. There is one hotel we didn't get the money back from, or to get the credit from.
Oh, I'm not going to name names. You'll have to tell me.
I'm not going to name
after.
it, but I'm just saying that this is where things move on, and we get the wheel keeps going on. We've got an hotel.
Yeah,
that's
we've got a
some good
hotel
money.
that we didn't get any money back from. We got another hotel that we only got half of the deposit back from.
Wow.
Another one where we only got a little bit. So we
credit.
We're
didn't
still-
retain all that money.
Yeah. If you're wondering why is Dan going, wow, why don't he know? Why is that so?
Because you don't deal with anything.
Well, no, and
you
don't
don't pay
listen.
attention.
Yeah, I have no need
Don't
to.
pay
Unless
attention.
if you use the word cake within a sentence, he will give you full attention. That is something that I use quite regular to get his attention.
But I think it is the love that we have for it. It's quite ironic when you think the Greeks, when we went into their strip, did not know who he was, did not believe in us. We were just fly-by-nights. And just a small amount of years later, when they all of the main ones could have kept everyone's money. It would have bankrupted us. It would have, we had 3 or 4 disgruntled people who tried to blackmail us collectively, but in fact we had 1,000 people who stood by us, and we stood by them, and we went and saved their money, saved their holidays, and they had a holiday during COVID. Yeah. And I think that sums us up. That sums up who we are. We won't let people tell us what to do. We wouldn't let COVID get in our way. And at the heart of what we do is that first year of seeing people cry, and then in that COVID era, seeing people cuddle each other and seeing each other for the first time. But me and Sonia, we are ready for new chapters, Son, aren't we? We're ready for new chapters with what we do.
Yeah.
Jay, you've got a festival to concentrate on, and actually you've got a meme career that you make money out of based around me, and that must take you a lot of time to do, my friend.
It's very rare. Most of it is just old stuff being regurgitated these days.
Because
I'm too busy with other stuff. But yeah, I might get a little video of you on the way home today.
Well, actually, there's quite a few. Actually, we'll go for dinner. Remember when we used to do that? That was there was a time in Unity, like I say, in the first year it lost a fortune. In the second year, it probably broke it even from memory. In the third year, we didn't make any money because we'd spent so much of our resources on fighting the case.
Legal, yeah.
However, we did get rewarded a large sum, but it didn't pay for what had been laid out or the previous 3 years.
And that was something else that was pointed out at the time, of that even when you win, you don't get the money that you spent.
You don't get your full money back. What you'd laid out, and then always one of the big then going into COVID and all what we had to face with that. One of our luxuries on Unity in the Sun is always, if we have a meeting or do something, going for a little Unity meal. Going for a little meal on the expenses card. Unity in the Sun 2026, our last ever one. I'm going to ask you both a quick memory, a memory for you of Unity.
I've got too many.
Go on, reel them then.
No, it's 10 years. Let's say the first year where it rained, the first year turning up, the coaches all of a sudden were twice the price. So running around getting a minibus and sleeping in a minibus here, there, and everywhere to get people backwards and forwards. Another year, someone falling off a balcony, breaking their back.
That's not good.
No, all this is just.
It's all memories.
It's just bang, 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 bang. Just the year of Sonia. Right, okay, right. Got to take Sonia to the doctors. Got bit by Mozzie.
That's a story
every year. Yeah, it's sort of like, okay, what are you doing today? Oh, day 2. Keeping an eye out for Sonia, because no doubt she'll need whizzing around the doctors.
Tell them about that, Son. Sonia's really allergic to mosquitoes, and every year for a number of years you were ending up in hospital and running the festival while being in hospital on your hospital bed.
Yeah, in the hospital bed, still scheduling things, and people were even coming to see me in the hospital because I was like, "Where's Sonia?" But yeah, last year was the first year I didn't get bit.
Yeah.
In all the time we've been going, last year was the first year. So from the very first year, getting bit, the mosquito had bit me on a vein. So I remember the first time I went to see Tassos, and he was like, "Have you been to Africa? Have you, where have you come from?" And I was like, "Nowhere. I've flown from London." And he was like, "That looks like it's something," because it was just travelling up my veins, all up my arm. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And he was going, "You've got to go straight to hospital." I remember Chris took me, and we didn't. Obviously, I didn't know the doctor, and I didn't know Chris long. Tears are going down my eyes. I'm like, "What do you mean I've got to go to hospital? You can't send me to hospital." But went to hospital. It wasn't as bad as they thought. But then, every single year after, I'd get bit, go and see the doctor. He'd either give me an injection in my bum. Then,
Ooh la la.
if that didn't work, tablets. If that didn't work, then it was like, you've got to go to the mainland and get on the IV. And that continued every single year. Didn't matter what I'd done. In the extreme heat, by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be dressed from head to toe in, like, people would look at me in a tracksuit. I'd even have a scarf on sometimes because I just wanted to be completely covered.
Yeah.
To not get bit. And they always managed to find a way to get to me.
It's like stars in the eyes, wasn't it? She was spraying herself with that much stuff. There was like, as you come through, today, Matthew, I'm not getting bit.
I remember the first year in COVID, the big thing was from everyone, Lavery started it. COVID, Sonia, don't worry, hold my beer. Let's fucking have a party and organise a flipping holiday abroad. And yeah, that's another thing people don't see. The amount, like our customers who come know you, but every year you get ill and you're literally running the event from your hospital bed. My lasting impressions is junglist dancing to hardcore, hardcore dancing to junglist. Doing our final days in which just randomly they have ended up 80s nights, soul and funk nights. Seeing people come for the first time and they say it changed their life, or they met a partner, or it rekindled the love of their life. All of the different musics. Seeing the venue owners like so unsure of us and then absolutely fascinated by how good the parties are. That it's just been memory after memory. The relationships that whether it's Tracy at Mojo's, whether it's the guys
Leo at the village,
whether it's the family at Morpheus, whether it's the whole family at Morpheus, whether it's the guy, the whole family at Amos, how connected not only we have become with them as a strip, as a little mini town, it's a village. Kavos outside of the summer is a village with a handful of families,
fishermen and farmers,
a fisherman village, right? And how attached the thousands of people who have been to our event are to the people in that village.
Yeah.
And that is the magic thing.
And vice versa. I mean, like you can say, what you're saying about Tracy, well, she gets on with everyone, but even the Fountain Bar, they've got a thing there for Stu Allen.
Stu Allen, Stu Allen was loved in Kavos by everyone in the same way that he's loved by everyone who followed him. And yeah, like you say, his picture is up in the Fountain Bar. Not only is his picture up in the Fountain Bar, I remember when we started doing the multi-genre nights where you'd have hardcore, jungle, old school, rave, house at Cavadora. And Stu just showed his magic one night where he ended up doing everything, old school, jungle, hardcore. That was a magic night. Bringing Fast Eddie over from Chicago.
Yeah.
Absolutely humongous. For me, it was obvious because I'd been a supporter of them from when they first come about in COVID, cutting me dub plates. But the night we put 4am crew on the massive amphitheatre. And when I say I knew 4am crew because I'd booked them at Rave Story, they'd been cutting me dub plates. They were big fans of what I was doing and vice versa. But I knew how good 4am crew before they completely blew up in the way that they have. And I struck up a great creative friendship with them. And so we have these hard house followers, we have hardcore followers, old school followers, jungle followers. Put 4am crew smack bang in the fucking middle of a multi-genre event in an amphitheatre by the beach, and everyone was fucking wowed by potentially the best set we've ever put on at Unity in the Sun. And the following morning, because they have kick drums, they have energy, they have jungle, they have hardcore, and all that happened, and that was only 2 years ago. All that it was round the following morning, round every pool, was 4am crew, 4am crew, 4am crew. And one of my lasting impressions was DJ Ron, Brian G, Jumping Jack Frost, Kenny Ken, and they're their own little world, didn't they? Like, the conversation with me and Kenny was funny this morning, isn't it? Like, hearing if people could hear their like DJ Jungle Heroes talk, it wouldn't be the conversation you would expect, would it? What were me and Kenny talking about this morning?
We were talking about underpants, washing, dirty socks.
What we had to wear at the weekend.
What we had to wear at the weekends, yeah.
So all of a sudden, 4am crew that morning have come. I'm sat there with them lot, and Brian just looked at them and went, "You lot are fucking wicked. Come and sit here." And 4am crew, like, were just buzzing to be sat with Frost, Brian, Kenny, Ron. Everyone were just going. Them lot,
it was like we'd booked a pop star.
Them lot were in awe of 4am crew, and 4am crew going, "Is Brian really saying this about us? Is Kenny really?" And it was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was one of my proudest moments as the music programmer of what we do. I always love it when the video of Marky G comes up with him hanging upside down like a monkey on the boat.
Yeah.
I always love that. Sending free boats out with a few hundred people on each boat, hardcore boat, old school boat, jungle boat. What one's the loudest? What one's going off the most? I always love that. I always love the vibe of Cavadora. In fact, Kenny Ken last year played my favourite ever set at Unity. He played like a real deep 89 set. There's just been so many amazing moments. Spider, can't see me face, balaclava, and seeing a load of happy hardcore people like in the vibe of Spider, because all the junglists are in the vibe. And then on the same night when Jay come on with Incomplete Darkness and DJ Seduction, the hardcore lot are then going like that, but the junglists who are doing the balaclava, they're not going, and I've got it all on video. And it's just things like that that make it so magic. And now that we're having this conversation, now that I know that we don't let no cunt tell us what to do, we're not ending it.
No, I was going to say that.
We're not ending it. Let's get this one out of the way, and then we'll be back next year for 2027. That's not happening, by the way. Me and Sonia is.
No, you're going to be grandparents next year.
Yeah.
Sonia's going to be an absolute dotting grandmother. It's going to totally transform her life. For you, for the first year, trust me, as someone who's been through it, it's going to take till you start getting the little responses, you get the little bit of talking back to you, till you are fully engrossed.
Oh, mate,
in it.
I'm there, mate.
Sonia's she's going to feel like brilliant, because this is mine to start with. But yeah, when you get to that stage.
But just talking about those things makes me want to hyper focus on actually doing it again. But we're not.
But the thing is that
don't take that the wrong way.
But Cavos is, it's like Jay in between us. Completed it, mate.
Yeah.
We're 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
We've completed it.
Yeah.
And it can't grow anywhere. It will always just be what it become.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing where it needs to end on the high with everyone still loving it. The thing that's disappointing is the amount of people that are saying, "That's my yearly holiday, what am I going to do now?" And it's given me guilt, because we've been talking about this for 2 years, really.
Yeah.
I mean, even possibly 3 years, we've been like, how long can we do this? But every year when people are saying, "This is my yearly holiday, like, we love it so much," or "This has helped me, it's given me my life back," basically. The amount of single people that travel on their own and come to this event. And I think I've held on to that, and I've been like, no, we can't stop, because this is so good for
we
people.
We feel responsible. I think the other thing before we close as well, obviously, we can't wait to do it. We can't wait for it one last time.
Yeah.
We cannot wait to be around Amos, Morpheus. We cannot wait for all the different parties and the musics. We cannot wait for Cavadora, the boats. We can't wait for the little surprises that they might not all know about yet.
It's the actual driving in. When we first arrive,
You took the words out of my
driving
mouth.
into that place, knowing there's no one there on holiday, we're going in there ahead of everyone. So that moment, we get through the first bit, you go through that little narrow bit, and you just, it opens up again to like, this is it. This is the next.
This is the
2
playground.
weeks. This
This is the playground.
But
for
I
50
thought
euro.
you was going to say that the start of it was, what I'm going to miss as well is when we get off that airplane, you go and pick the hire car up. What did he say?
Oh, this is what everyone says to it.
Go on.
Go on, just
How
do.
is your winter, Jay? They ask him how his winter was. Everyone, right? So we've never told. So the hire car company is up in the main town, pretty much outside of the airport.
Airport.
Right. So he's not privy to our business relationship. We're freeway partners in the way that the hotels and everyone are. And he knows or thinks in his brain that I'm Jay's boy. So when Jay, and I haven't got the heart to, and he's never heard me shout at Jay, he's never, like everyone else has, he's never seen the relationship, and his English isn't as good as a lot of people, right? So when we pull up, he always passes me Jay's luggage.
You're the hired help.
Yeah, like I'm his boy, and he always looks like, oh, you brought your special worker back, Jay. Hello, Jay. How was your winter? And he's always so concerned about Jay's winter and giving me Jay's stuff in the back of the thing. And whereas everyone in the village, Kavos, they know the dynamic. Even though he's been working for us for 10 years, we've never actually told him, have we? Yeah. He just deals with you. How was your
and the coaches, same as the coaches.
I've dealt with the coaches a few times. But no, going back to what I was saying was, the lead up to the actual event, obviously, we all have our different parts. But it then starts when we get to the airport, you go and pick the hire car up, and then we stop at that shop. It's like a ritual, isn't it? The ritual of getting there.
I mean, there's another thing. So when even with transferring people, you can't use the word customers because I've never looked at anyone as a customer. But you know, every time, like I say to all the drivers, no matter who you pick up, stop there, see if anyone needs a drink or anything for the journey down. And like, you know, man, at times I'll go, oh, why are you stopping? Well, just in case you want to get a water or if you want to get a beer or anything, get a nice solid on the way down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. It's like, oh, I don't need a Red Bull. I need a packet of fags anyway. Yeah. So, that'd be strange, not stopping there.
Jay, if they're thinking about joining us, where do they go and get their event passes? Because all our hotels are sold out.
Yeah, event passes available on the website, www.unityinthesun.co.uk or .com or .net. Yeah. Or just simply type it into Google, Unity in the Sun, and it'll give you all the options.
Because basically, with an event pass, they get free 5. I don't know why I'm trying to act like I know. They're getting free. Let me see if I know the infrastructure of our business.
Here we go. After
the 10th event, come on.
Right. So they can get 3, 5, or 7 day event passes.
Yes.
Which gets them everything except the boat. That's separate. The hotels are sold out. So the hotel are sold out from us, but there's other hotels available. So they get their event pass, and then they go and book their own hotel. Correct.
I was getting a bit worried then, but that's correct. So they book their own hotel and their own transfer. And like with the other bookings, boats are excluded. So boats are separate, whatever you buy.
Right.
Yeah. But just the event passes.
The 3-day options.
Jay, let's have a motherfucking
You almost
party.
got but the 3-day options is the first 3 days and the last 3 days.
Yeah,
The
I never knew that.
The 5-day.
I never knew that.
Okay, and the 5-day is from the Monday for 5 days, and the 7 days is
Let's have a motherfucking
self-explanatory.
party. What are we going to have, Son?
We're going to have a
Motherfucking party.
motherfucking party.
What are we going to have, Jay?
Well, you're going to have ice cream.
Yeah,
You're going to be the only gay in the village,
yeah.
and we're going to party.
Motherfucking party.
Motherfucking.
Unity in the. So I hope you lot found that interesting because it is a modern day rave story. Because we have all, you think, Son, all of lots of my mates who have been on to tell they're promoting stories from 88, 89. They've got all their woes and troubles. We're giving, or have just given people a snapshot of a more recent promotion
Yeah.
that has got a lot of emotion around it. And I hope you find that interesting. Because I actually found that interesting, and I know you both. I live with you, and I speak to you every day, and I found out things about Unity in the Sun that I never knew.
Well, this is the whole idea of you paying attention in life.
Right.
But don't forget, this. I mean, we had a brief chat last night about this. Don't forget, you've had a major life change within this thing of where you gave up the drink, which would have been on the 4th one.
No, I was
No, but
second year. I was giving it up at the 2018, and when. And actually, it was at the time of the innovation case because I remember I'd lost it all during that. That wasn't a driving factor at all. Probably, yeah, that wasn't a driving factor. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much. The Sozinator, you finally see her.
I know, I am real.
She is
I
real.
do exist. I'm not a
She
figment of
is
your
real.
imagination.
I've not made her up. I was going to say I'm not gay, but that's debatable because Jay would come back with that. And here's Jay, who you always see. The Folly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks for having
And
us.
If you are coming in the sun, we're looking forward to spending our last year with you.
Let's fucking party, dude.